Welcome everyone to our interview with Virginia McHardy and Donna Naylor to introduce and share their open educational resource, Exploring SDGs for EAP Learners and the SDGs in the Classroom Toolkit. We'll begin with a land acknowledgement. We recognize that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. The university acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Tikaranto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabeg Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat. It is now home to many First Nation, Inuit, and Métis communities. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region.
Thank you, Tracy. So we will start today by introducing both Virginia and Donna and ourselves, and then we'll go into the interview and we'll ask questions about the OER and the SDGs for EAP learners. We'll also talk about UN SDGs and U elective course, and at the end, we're going to explore the SDGs in the Classroom Toolkit and the resources in it.
Nidama?
Okay, so I am Nidama Bhatia, SDGs project coordinator and curriculum expert.
And I'm Tracy Bula, SDGs project coordinator and curricular expert at York University, which is in Toronto, Ontario. I'd like to introduce Virginia McHardy. She is the academic program coordinator for the English for Academic Purposes program at Georgian College in Barrie, Ontario. With more than 30 years of experience in English language training, Virginia started her career teaching English in Japan in 1992. Since then, she has taught in private language schools, link classes, the TSB ESL, and with Sheridan College, Sioux College, Conestoga College, and Georgian College. She lives with her husband and two semi-adult children with their golden doodle Maggie in a rural area north of Barrie. Like many people in her area, Virginia loves hanging out with her family and her dog, four-wheeling, and listening to Taylor Swift.
Thank you, Tracy. And now I'll introduce Donna from Georgian College. So she has taught in Georgian's English for Academic Purposes program, EAP, language instruction for newcomers to Canada programs, and private language schools. Her experience includes curriculum development, online course development, placement testing, mentoring of student teachers, and she was a designated support to college faculty for remote teaching during the pandemic. Donna has been involved in curriculum updating and development extensively for EAP. She has also helped develop several English language-based workforce development courses for partner institutions, as well as journal education course for Georgian. Most recently, Donna co-created the UN Sustainable Development Goals and U elective, which she is now teaching. Thank you.
Nidama? Okay, so let's begin by introducing the OER book, SDGs for EAP Learners. So I have a question for Virginia first, and then a question for Donna. So around the introduction, so Virginia, what inspired you to create this OER on SDGs for English as a second language students?
Well, thank you, Tracy, and thank you, Nidama, for having us here today. My inspiration came when I was at a conference last year in Thailand, and there was a speaker, Christina Tat, who was a lecturer at a Japanese university, and she talked about creating an SDG course for her ESL students. And it got me thinking about creating one for our program. I heard that Donna had been doing a couple of lessons in one of her reading classes. So I approached her and said, hey, what do you think about doing something together and creating a course? And then from there, the OER sort of stemmed along with that.
Right. And Donna, why do you think integrating the SDGs into ESL lesson plans is important?
Two reasons, really. The SDGs affect all of us, and being able to communicate the ideas around the SDGs is important in today's workplace. So by incorporating them into our lesson plans, we're giving students the language that they need to interact with the concepts. The other piece of it is that our students are from all over the world, and these issues have affected them directly. Lack of water, lack of food, poverty, war zones, all of those kinds of things. And an ESL classroom is a perfect environment to invite students to share some of their stories in a safe space. That helps build awareness and understanding with the other students as well. And it makes it a very personal thing to address.
Great, thank you. And now I will pass to Nidima.
Thank you, Tracy. So now we will talk more about the creation of the OER and the process involved. My question is to you, Virginia. So can you walk us through the development process of this OER and showcase us the OER?
Oh, sure, absolutely. We wanted a resource for this course that was easy to use because our learners come from 4 different levels in these elective courses. So we wanted to make sure that everything was consistent and easy to use. And so it really is an introduction to the learning of the different development goals, the language, the vocabulary, and information that one would find in discussing the specific goals. I can show you actually, and if I can share my screen.
Yeah, sure. That would be grateful.
Okay. All right. Can you see that now?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
perfect. So this is the introduction, the home page. And when you go into the book, you can scroll down a little bit where it says read book and just click on that link. And then it will bring us up to the contents on the left side, which you just click. And then you'll see sustainable development goals where you click on the plus sign. And here we have listed all 17 goals. So if you were to start on the first chapter, the first SDG, we'll click on no poverty. You can see that we start with new vocabulary to begin with. We have definitions of the vocabulary where the EAP student can match the word with the definition, and then at the bottom, check. We also have flashcards where the students can practice these vocabulary words here. So for example, the experience of having no money, just turn it over, and the vocabulary word poverty is on this side. Then as we move down into the chapter, there is a little blurb on ending poverty. We have an infographic that is from Canada, Stats Canada, in here. And as you go down, there are discussion questions that learners can ask in partners or in small groups within the classroom. They can watch a video that has been put out by the UN and answer some questions that go along with the video. A section of what can we do in our day-to-day lives. And as we scroll down, it talks about the key targets for each SDG, and then an assignment or homework plan that they can do. And then at the bottom of each chapter, we have a link that will go to the UN site that talks about each goal itself. And then we also have a link to your York University's the SDGs in the Classroom Toolkit, so they can find more lesson ideas if they wanted to. as there. And all of these chapters are all consistent. So if we were to go to the next one at the top here, and let's say we go into Zero Hunger, the setup is the same. So it is very similar. This one just has maybe a little bit different fill in the blank, but the same format as we go down for each one of them. And this is really designed so that the learner is familiar with the chapters because of that we are teaching English to them and that we want that consistency in there.
Okay, wow, this is a lot of resources, abundance of resources, and I'm sure that this task wouldn't have been easy for you. So my next question is about that. So can you please share with us, like, what challenges did you face in creating this OER?
That's a great question. I think one of the biggest challenges was that it was 17 development goals that we had to create a chapter for. So that in itself was very time consuming. And I noticed that near the end of the chapters, the vocabulary words were starting to overlap. So it was hard to try and get more vocabulary words so that the students could build on what they already knew. There was also the problem of finding pictures and photos for the OER itself that had open licenses. So I feel like that was probably the most difficult things to deal with.
Okay, thank you. And also, if you could share with us, like, what pedagogical approaches or methodologies actually influence the design of this OER?
Yeah, I think I touched on that a little bit before, that we wanted really to keep it simple. We knew that this was an introduction to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and that we wanted learners to understand the vocabulary within all of those goals. Our learners are from different levels because it is an elective course. So we have multiple levels in one course. And so to be consistent and for the learners to understand, go through all of the chapters, we just wanted to make sure that we started easy so that we could build later on and perhaps create a second OER to go on to continue our process of hopefully doing another part 2 elective.
Oh, that would be great. So I think you were like very thoughtful when you were thinking that you wanted to make it simple for your students, and also that the students come from different backgrounds and also the levels. So what do you think your advice would be for other educators that are looking to develop their own OER?
Oh, great question. You need an awesome librarian. At Georgian College, we have Jen Booth, who is indispensable. She was an expert in doing the attributions and citations for everything within the OER. And really, I sort of leaned on her to do all of that and work out the formatting. It's not as intimidating as you think. If you have an idea to create an open educational resource, you can do it as long as you know the content. It's easy to do. You just need that person who can support you with the other areas. So as long as you know the content, you can create anything.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was really very insightful information, and I think it's going to help other educators as well. So now I will hand it over to Tracy for the next set of questions.
Great. Thanks, Nidima. Donna, we'd like to hear about your creation of the course elective at Georgian and about implementing that SDG class for EAP students. So my first question is, what specific SDG themes did you focus on and why?
We chose to focus on 6 of the SDGs that we felt students could have a positive impact on personally. So things that we could have some practical advice to give. So we focused on no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, and climate action.
Great, thanks. And what activities and strategies helped engage the ESL learners?
Well, as I mentioned, we wanted to make the OER and the course both practical and relevant to the students who would be using the materials. So one of the biggest challenges was keeping a positive spin on things. Some of the statistics can be quite depressing and overwhelming. So we try to keep things in context and focus on, how far have we come? Where do we need to go? But, we're still making progress. But also, what could they do in their day-to-day lives to have a positive impact and to help the world move forward? So 2 examples that we have incorporated into the course. One is that when we study clean water and sanitation, we actually have the students do a water audit by tracking their water use over 7 days. And then they analyze where they're using the most water, where they can reduce their use, and that kind of thing. This has become a great eye-opener for many, and leads to a number of conversations in the classroom related to those goals. For example, one of the things that's come up more than once is we have students who have come from a water scarce country, and what they've learned now that they're in Canada is, well, water's here and it's easily accessible, and I can take longer showers and I can do those kinds of things. But when they start to realize how much water they're using, they try to find that balance in between. So it's been a really a good assignment for people to do, and some of them get their families and roommates involved as well. The other thing that we do, and Virginia can share some images that we have about this, we have students do an experiential learning week. And for this, students are required to go out into the community and do something positive related to one of the first SDG goals, the first, second, or third. So the poverty, hunger, and good health and well-being. So they might volunteer at a food bank, they might do a donation drive for a local shelter. There are quite a few choices that students can pick from. And they do choose something that's of particular interest to them. And the added bonus is, as language learners, they get to test out their English in a real life environment and see how that works for them. And it's a great confidence builder for those students who are a little worried about their English, but it also gives them real Canadian experience that they can add to their resumes as well. So the images that Virginia is sharing there are from past students who have done volunteering, collecting things and donating them, volunteering at food banks, meal programs, and that kind of thing for in their own communities. So those are our kind of key approaches to the course.
That's wonderful. I think it's important, right, to make sure that students understand that the SDGs impact them individually, right? And then to see what they can do in their community, right? So that's wonderful. Thank you. So Nidham and I are going to do a walkthrough of the SDGs in the Classroom Toolkit, and we will share where your wonderful resource is in the toolkit. So I'll share my screen, just make sure everyone can see. All right. So let's take a look. This is our home page of the toolkit. We have an About section. Then the next tab over, we have Design and Deliver the SDGs. We also have Infuse SDGs into Teaching. We have a Collaborate section. We also post our newsletter, and we have Events and Announcements. But let's take a look over at the Design and Deliver tab, and we're going to go down to Designing. And we have some information. So here, this is where we have resources if teachers are interested in creating their own materials, or if they perhaps want to refresh some older lessons. We've got guidelines, a few questions to consider. Then we have a few sections here that teachers may find useful, from assessment to best practices, course checklists with mapping tools and example syllabi. so that they don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then we're going to take a look at specifically lesson planning resources for all disciplines. And this is one section where we have Donna and Virginia's resource. So you'll find that here. We also have a few other resources as well. So if people scroll, they should be able to find something. All right, and then let's go back up to the Design and Deliver tab, and we're going to go into the Wellness section. And Donna did touch on the feelings around, right, climate change, climate anxiety. So Nidima, if you want to walk through.
Yeah, I think Donna was talking about that. Sometimes the stats are, depressing and overwhelming for students. So I think we have resources in our toolkit related to wellness, approaches to wellness. We have resources on climate change anxiety for both educators as well as students. We also have education and climate anxiety. We have hope pedagogy and climate change education. So we have stress management in climate context, wellness and climate change. So there are resources, and moving forward, we have other publications. We have resources on understanding climate grief, and we have podcasts here. We have videos and documentaries. We also have some wellness tools and organization listed in our other section. So I think these are some of the resources if the educators feel that it's becoming depressing talking about certain SDGs or talking about certain numbers. So I think these resources can be very helpful.
So let's do the Teaching the 17 UN SDGs with Nidima.
Thank you, Tracy. So we have this section where we have divided resources on SDGs. So we can open SDG 2, Zero Hunger. So in this SDG, we have our blogs, we have case studies, we also have infographics, we have lesson plans. We also have a video library like SDG Academy Library. We also have other websites. We also recently added another section to it. It says products, so you can actually go into the products that are actually helping to, promote this SDG. So and all the SDGs or the resources are arranged in the same way. So it's easy for the, educators and students to actually find what resources they want to look for.
Thanks, Nidima. And if we go back up to the Infuse SDGs into Teaching tab, we'll go down to discipline-specific materials. And here what we've done is created sections for specific disciplines and have included resources, materials specifically related to that discipline. So for example, if we go into the Education and ESL, and we've also designed this section for consistency. So every discipline has the same categories. So everyone will have lesson plans that they can work through. This one has quite a few. We also have case studies that are available. And then we have classroom support material. And SDGs for EAP learners is here again. Yay. So we do have the resource here, along with a few others, the 30 self-nudges. We also have the data hub. We have Faculty for Future and the Seed Library, Fair Trade Canada, all the way down. And then we also have a few reports available as well. And back up in the Infuse SDGs into Teaching tab, we'll take a look at the SDG resources for the classroom. So these are a little more general. And Nidima, if you want to walk us through.
Yeah, so we have more case studies here that are more general. We also have a gamification category here. So you can see gamification resources here. And then we have more infographic. We also have a list of organizations, both Canadian as well as global organization. And also we have podcasts, we have products for SDGs. and sustainability. So we recently added this section, so you can find products here that are related to all the SDGs or some specific SDGs. And then we have more SDG guides, toolkit here in this section. There are also SDG related sustainability products. And more videos, websites, and websites with videos. So this particular section is very rich with resources that are more internal.
Great. Thanks, Nidima. And now I'd like to share our contact information. So if anyone wants to reach out, if there's some contributions, if anyone has questions, our email addresses are here. And I'd also like to thank Virginia and Donna for the creation of their OER resource, SDGs for EAP learners, and for joining Nidima and I to explore the book and the course, and to share the impactful activities that Georgian College is involved with in advancing the SDGs and the 5 Ps for teachers and students. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Tracy and Nidima. We really appreciated it.
Great. All right. Take care, everyone.
Take care.